Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Monica Singh. I am presenting corneal epithelial mapping and refractive surgeries by MS39. By MS39, which is combined ASOCT topographer and Placido disc topographer. So here is how the evolution of the corneal topographers have happened over the years, starting from Placido disc keratoscopy, then with scanning slit imaging, and then came Scheimpflug imaging, which is being used in Pentacam, and then advanced anterior segment OCT based corneal topographers. So what was the problem with previous topographers was that they are unable to get the epithelial and stromal maps separately. So the stromal abnormalities gets hide because of the masking effect of the epithelium. So this is how the corneal epithelial mapping started. So the point is why this epithelial mapping is important. So first is, as we know, the corneal epithelium is known for its remodeling properties, which may mask the irregularities of the stromal layer. And corneal epithelium and stromal independent imaging and analysis will supplement the understanding of post-refractive surgery outcomes, as well as early detection of the subclinical keratoconus cases. So what happens when we do refractive surgery in good epithelium versus bad epithelium? So in good epithelium, after refractive surgery, we get good and predictable outcomes, while versus bad epithelium, after refractive surgery, we get unpredictable outcomes, like the accuracy of the refractive surgery would not be there. So what are the current ASOCT based topographers which we have? So we have OptoView, Cirrus and MS39. So what additional features MS39 is providing? So it provides separate um, epithelial and stromal maps, as well as it also provides crystalline lens biometry. It's very useful in keratoconus screening, and it also gives a detailed analysis of the corneal higher order aberrations like comma, trefoil and spherical aberrations. Coming to the purpose of my study, so it is to evaluate the corneal epithelial mapping pre and post surgery in patients undergoing refractive surgery. So it was a prospective observational study with cohort of 75 eyes. I did pre-op evaluation, which involves visual acuity, corneal topography and biomechanics, and corneal epithelial mapping using MS39. So we have involved healthy eyes of individuals of 18 to 75 years who had refractive errors between +8 diopters to -8 diopters, and we have excluded the patients who were not willing to participate in this study, or who had previous any ocular surgery or corneal epithelial pathologies, or any previous history of LASIK. So I have in data collection, I have included demographic data, date of refractive surgery, along with corneal epithelial thickness and corneal aberrations. So statistical analysis was done by Kruskal-Wallis test, and I have used Medcalc software, and p-value less than 0.05 was considered significant. So coming to results, so pre-operatively in 75 eyes, male to female ratio was 0.45. So we can see pre-operatively so I have included 3 surgeries: LASIK, PRK and SMILE. So all the parameters or variables, which includes mean epithelial thickness in all 4 quadrants, along with corneal aberrations, which includes comma, trefoil and spherical aberrations, they all were comparable in all 3 surgery groups. Coming to 1 month post surgery, so in this, all these parameters were significantly lesser in PRK surgery group when we compare to LASIK and SMILE group, with a p-value of 0.01. And 3 months post surgery, in all the parameters, there was no significant difference in all these 3 surgery groups. So when I compared, regardless of the surgery which was done, when I compared all these parameters, pre-operative state and 1 month after surgery, the change in all parameters, that was statistically significant with p-value of less than 0.05, while when I compared pre-operative parameters with 3 months after surgery, the change in all these parameters, it was statistically insignificant because of epithelial remodeling. Coming to conclusion, so in PRK surgery group, these changes in all these parameters, it was maximum, and there was a decrease in central mean epithelial thickness as well as in thickness in all 4 quadrants. In SMILE group, these changes, it was least when compared to LASIK and PRK group, and in LASIK group, there was significant increase in central thickness, which was maximum in superotemporal and inferotemporal quadrant. So I can say 1 month after surgery, there was change in epithelial thickness, which was not regular in all quadrants because of epithelial remodeling. So the addition of this epithelial mapping to the pre-operative refractive surgery workup and in post-operative evaluation in case of suboptimal results will also help in making more accurate management decisions with improved outcomes, as well as it plays an important role in as a diagnostic tool in screening of keratoconus, as we know that epithelium thins over the region of the cones in keratoconus, and also it helps in understanding corneal refractive surgical accuracy as well as in improving the diagnosis of corneal diseases. Hence, epithelial mapping seems to be an important tool in refractive surgery workup for differentiating suspicious from normal corneas. Thank you. Yes, sir. Hmm. Thank you, sir.